Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel to be a mid-March middle grade wrap-up review and suggestions. If you are still in the midst of middle grade March and want to continue, I did order a middle grade March 2023 bookmark that I have been using. I have, I think, 8 that I have read, and I want to get to 5 to 7 more depending on my other reading, and I'll share those at the end of the month, but these are ones that I've read up to now. I did read the group reads A Rovers story. This is a cute little story that is told through the eyes of the rover himself, who is going to be sent up to Mars, and how he figures out what's going on around him and how is he going to experience this and how does he compute human emotions and those kind of things, and then just also teaches you something a little bit about NASA and the Mars space program, because it is actually, you know, historically researched to actually talk some about actual events that happened. So very cute. I really enjoyed that. Island of the Blue Dolphins, Scott Odell. This is a long-standing kind of classic that is the story of a young girl who finds herself through unfortunate circumstances kind of on her own in the wild on an island, trying to, you know, survive, trying to create things and dealing with the elements. And this too is actually researched on an actual story of an actual place and girl and happenings, and it's a beautifully written and you know, easy to read as far as length and keeping your interest in just pacing and description. For kind of my neurodivergent, I had chosen The Girl with the Silver Eyes. This is a cute little middle grade story about a young girl who is born different and actually ends up having a gift of telepathy. That's actually what her, you know, difference is. So then she has to try to figure out where does she belong and how does she not get made into a freak for being different, but turn it into something special, which is probably true of, I mean, we're all handicapped in one way or another. Like, we all have our challenges on whatever level that may be. So how do we use that to not stand out and be other, but to actually, you know, have a voice and something beautiful to contribute, because that's the reality. I got to Rainbow Rowell, Scattered Showers. These are a grouping of short stories, and this just was published in 2022. So this was my new release for middle grade March prompts. I thought this was outstanding little short stories. Most of them, I kind of wanted the story to continue, and fear not, like 3 of the, I think there's 9 stories in here, and 3 of them say are continued in this other novel. Like, this is a clip or an excerpt of something else. So there you have it. So these are all children or teenagers stories, but a lot of them are coming of age or first experiences, like trying to wait out for theater tickets outside all night long. I don't know that happens anymore with the digital, you know, queuing and everything. I don't think people actually ever have to queue up outside, but that is a lost art, y'all. And there's a story about it in here. It was cute. I also have gotten to Beverly Cleary's The Mouse and the Motorcycle. So little Ralph, he is learning how to drive a toy motorcycle and less able to keep out of trouble. And it's just very heartwarming, and I love the little illustrations in it. Just simple, cute storytelling going along. There's a whole series. We get to follow Ralph in many adventures. So this is just one of many goodness if you're looking for old school middle grade with a boy who befriends a mouse. I got to the first one in the trilogy, The Apothecary. This is a kind of sci-fi magical realism, because the pharmaceuticals that they mix up actually do legit magic or transformation to, for instance, make people invisible. The main thing is to turn people into birds. So they use this to try to save the environment, save the world, stop nuclear arms development, and they're children. So you have to suspend your disbelief and pretend like children actually would be able to maneuver themselves into these places, which I seriously doubt they would, but it's a fun thing to think about or to try to imagine that they can, and just go, okay, that Nancy Drew kind of thing, I'm down for that. It's cute. It's actually very well paced and engaging for it, and I am going to read the last in this series, I hope by the end of the month. So I'll let you know once I'm done what my overall impression. And then I read PAx. This was one that many of y'all said, I love her name, Pennypacker, and I discovered that this is a duology. At least there is a follow-up to this story, so it's not necessarily a cliffhanger per se. There's kind of an ending, but you definitely are left without everything tied up, and there is a second book that goes along with this that continues. So it is the story of PAx the fox, who is near death as a kit and gets raised by humans. And so there's again a bond between a boy and a fox. They goes back and forth. They don't directly literally talk to each other, but they understand each other well enough in that really kind of owner pet kind of way that they know one another so well. And so I really like that. I love that there is an actual war that is going on. There is destruction to the environment, obviously, that there can be in war times, as well as disruption to the humans and to life itself. And so the perspective of the fox versus the perspective of the boy is just really, really well done. There's some other characters that he encounters that are just really interesting, and you get to go along and kind of see how the boy not only changes the fox's life, but those that he comes in contact with. It's just I think that the boy Peter is just kind of a symbol of peace, which is what PAx represents. So finally, the ones that I have read for middle grade that I can recommend that you check out if you are looking for a historical, almost nonfiction. The character herself probably did not exist exactly, but the situation and the circumstances and the history. So very well developed historical fiction of back in days when slavery was just rampant, and that you were actively trading away families, and this little girl's journey and quest and fight for freedom, for her family, for just making sense of the world that really often was definitely not fair, and most of the time didn't even make sense. So this is just, again, not lighthearted in that sense, but very thought-provoking, very character-driven, very beautiful in the way that it's told. They start out each thing by date and kind of what's going on, and kind of set the tone for the history, for the struggle in between the English revolutionaries, or the English and the revolutionaries trying to establish the different powers, which was really interesting because I had never really thought about that give and take of Americans fighting against the English for their independence, in regard to how that affected the slaves directly in that moment. Like, I unfortunately was kind of thinking it almost like two separate events, the Revolutionary War and then the Civil War, but it's not so much. And this book actually does that in a way that's also very engaging and enjoyable. So there you have it. I really actually have enjoyed everything I've picked up middle grade wise, and I will leave them listed below if you would like to look them up, check more into them. Hope that you are having a great middle grade March. Let me know what you're reading and what has been your favorite so far. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. Take care.